Hello, everyone. I haven't been on here for a long time, a month almost. I don't really know why. Sometimes it's just life takes over and moods don't allow. And I got really inspired by listening to one of the podcasts. There is this girl, and her name is Jessica Mercedes, and she's a Polish fashion blogger. She was in conversation with some Polish podcaster, I guess, or interviewer. I don't know if he's a journalist. And she was talking about setting her own podcast, about really wanting to talk about her experience and really feeling the need of talking. And also obviously her podcast is going to be in the form of interviews, which I'd love to do at one point. I'd love to talk to Jessica Mercedes or interview her, or really interview, but also have it as a conversation. So just exchange of ideas and experiences that she had, and I believe I had also. So it would be really wonderful to have her on my very well-known podcast. And she was talking about what I've heard she was talking about was her energy and the drive and the passion of how she started off, and the belief in herself, how she from girl coming from a not kind of influential family, everything that she's done in her life came from her passion, drive, hard work also, and a belief in herself. As it is with many of the podcasters and I think YouTubers like Aaron Doughty and other more spiritual people that I listen to, there's one called Laurie Ladd or Philip Goodlife. These are the ones that just come into my mind right now. They all didn't have very easy lives, and this is where the wisdom and the development, that's where it's coming from. So if you are very comfortable in your life, if you don't have any, let's say, challenging experiences in your life, if you don't experience breakups, losses, people leaving, losing something, that's like a main in general, that's something that will stop you in your track and will make you review everything that you've been already doing, that you have been doing, and starting to ask questions about yourself. All those things sooner or later are going to influence your way of living. So we all thrive to have a very peaceful, happy life. From what I know and from my experience, and again from the experience of people that I've been listening to, reading books, psychology magazines, and just in general, looking at my own experience and my friends' experiences, I can see that the only way for you to start being spiritual really is when something very uncomfortable and sometimes traumatic happens in your life. And usually how it is that it can come from the childhood, so traumatic childhood experiences that you had when you were growing up or as a child, and very often we try to deal with those things by repressing them, by some substances, sometimes drugs, and also prescriptive drugs. So this is one day, and then sooner or later it will come up one way or another. Very often it comes up, and I'm just talking in a very generic way about this. So sometimes it will come up as a blocked energy, and it can come up as a sickness. Sometimes it can come up as everything in your life is just collapsing, and that's when, and this will come as many times as we need to, as a recurring lesson, and in different forms. Sometimes we wouldn't even recognize that this is the exact same pattern that just keeps repeating in a different form, of people leaving us, or we leaving people, or relationships, friendships break up, or the fact that some collaborations break out. So anything to do with losing people on your way to and this is to help you find yourself, or help you to find what's really important in your life. And this is also different for different stages in your life. That's another thing. So you think differently when you're in your 20s, and different things are important to you. You can start your development path in your 20s, of course you can, and I am really jealous if you did, because it appeared quite late for me. You can start your development in your 30s and your 40s, I think in your 50s and 60s. I don't know if that's because I also believe that different generation and the generation energetics, the times that people were born, only allow them to develop their spirituality to a certain degree. And I might be wrong, but from observation from my older family members, how I observe them, and by seeing where they are and how they react to things, I think that's the case. And I kind of also follow Dolores Cannon and her explanation of different waves of volunteers. So at different times there were kind of groups of souls coming to the earth, and they came here for different reasons, and they came here with almost different mindsets. Obviously we all come here and we forgot who we were, and we are looking for the reasons, and are looking for the answers, and for our goal in life, and for our aim, or we are looking to find out who we are. So that's fine. But what I mean is this, and I don't have the exact answer, because I don't want to undermine any people in their 60s or 70s or even 80s. I think people in their 90s are a totally different group of people, because their outlook and the proximity to leaving the earth might be giving them a very different view on how this all works. And I actually obviously think that they are beyond wise. They are very, very wise, and they, in a way, they have insight of what's out there, because they are so close to kind of being there. But I think that there is still a long way for me and you and everyone listening to this to kind of this outlook. And I would really love to interview or talk to more people in their 90s, or even 80s and see how they view that. The only experience I had with people like this was my grandma, and for example, I asked her what was she thinking, how is the life looking on the other side, and she told me there isn't a scenario that my husband who's now passed away, my grandfather, will be waiting there for me, and everyone else will be like that, will be waiting there for me in this kind of same relationship as I had on earth. So I think she was very clever like that. And also she said there isn't like a god with a beard waiting up there in heavens for me. It's not like that. She also obviously was not sure how it looks like out there on the other side, but I think what she was feeling, because it's really a feeling, is an intuition, is also a belief, faith, that's what it is. I think that was very in line of what I am thinking of how the other side is, but obviously I have now digressed hugely from that. So coming back to Jessica and what she was saying, talking about that she is setting up this podcast and she is going to discuss her her experience in breakup and how it led her to discover herself, and a kind of also how she is getting rid of her ego, which all of this is the things that I try to talk about. I don't think I've talked that much about ego, but this is the subject that really fascinates me and inspires me. I do talk to you as if it was my diary, so that's why sometimes it's very messy, is a little bit all over the place, which I hope you still appreciate. It's very vulnerable and very honest and quite real. So if that's something that is now that people value, then that's what it is in my podcast. But also I do that, like I always said, for myself, to have a voice, and from the need of connecting. And she was also talking about not having to show yourself, get dressed up, get your face made up as you would have to do on YouTube. So there is always those two things, and I always ask myself this question: why do I do this? Why do I go out and talk about things, about my experiences, and what is it? What do I have from that? What's the value for me from that? Because obviously it's not a monetary value, it's not a even like a recognition, or I haven't still connected with many people or with anyone really. But then when I look at the outreach of the podcast, and I look at the places when I am being heard, this is very lovely. And I do hope, even though I do not hear from anyone, I do hope that there is a couple of people who are listening and who get curious, and who then follow up with some other more people who have maybe more knowledge, or who have more followers, and then they kind of I am kind of one of the little step for them. First of all, it's very good to listen to people like me, I think, just to find out about other person that might think similarly, or that is I don't know, as crazy as someone else who might have thought it's only me who is following this path, or it's really it feels really weird, or these are the questions that maybe I only ask, no one really else is interested in that in my friend cycle, or I don't have really friends who would think about this, because I know I really don't. I am one of the only people in my friends group, even though they are really open, who would talk about things like this, who would talk about Dolores Cannon and probably karma in this sense, and spirituality and being one and looking for answers in energy, exchange and all things like that. So, and especially in the I think in Poland, where talking about the energy and healing, although it is very, let's say in inverted commas, popular, because it's getting popular all over the world, it's quite it's put in the box of for example someone who is interested in the woo-woo stuff, or is following is not following a path of the conventional medicine, but more of the things like I don't know, like things that people that don't believe in, don't believe in vaccination, let's say. So it's very like conspiracy theories person. So that's what I've been labeled by my family, and I'm still put in this box of conspiracy theorist, and I just don't say anything about that, because it's not about thinking that there is one family who rules the world. It's not about that. But for me, it's more about understanding the dynamics of how everything works and how everything is on earth, and that's not just one dimension. Whether my family and I love them very much, and I realize that every now and then, because usually or often I feel quite separated from them. So they do live in this one dimension, the dimension created by media, following pretty much the whatever government and laws, and not only that, but kind of thinking in this box, even though they are very intelligent, and they also can think outside the box. So my recent visit kind of made me more aware of that, and each and every visit to my country of origin makes me kind of brings me back to the same thing. And the more I develop, even though I think for now my spiritual development kind of is in a little bit of plateau, I think that all the work I have done in the times of the lockdowns, the breath work, most of all, the sound baths and other circles of full moon and new moon, and all the journaling, that was a very, very intense period for me, and that was amazing time for me. And I can see now how much how much it helped me to kind of cross over to another not dimension, but another me, how much it helped me to change, and how much one of my friends said to me, and that was the best compliment I've received for a long time, how rich my inner life is. And one of the things that Jessica also mentioned in her interview was that she never relied on how she looks, she always relied on her work and what she thought and what she was talking about. And I think that was amazing, because this is one of the things I'm still working on. So in a way, I rely, as a woman also, I relied on my look, on my appearance, to not only to get self-esteem, but also how I influence other people. So I would influence them by, I thought, by how I look. And I still kind of am in this, I admit I'm still in this view. And I think in a way, being a woman, it's not about how your face structure is, but it's about this inner charm that you can cultivate by many things. And one of them could also be makeup and, I don't know, Botox or things like this. If it feels right for you, then obviously you go ahead and do it. If it could make, there's always a balance. If you feel good about this, and and a few, I can tell that the few of the spiritual people, very spiritual and very kind of woo-woo female, I don't know how do you call them, YouTubers or influencers, or one of them is a shaman. There's this girl on Instagram that's called Jessica Shaman, I believe, and she does shamanic journeys, and she's done one with me also, which I think at the time was really needed. I'm still reflecting on this journey, even though it was done, I think, 1 or 2 years ago. If this is the experience that your intuition is telling you that you should be taking, then please go ahead. For me, I'm still reflecting on this, to be honest. I think if you are feeling that there is something that you want to try or want to do, you should trust your intuition. If it comes with a little bit of excitement and a fear, you should do it, because if it comes from the heart, you should do it. So that's how I felt back then. I did have a lot of energy done also on myself, energy work to add, and this all was helpful, and it's all, I think, still falling in the pieces, because the results that we are looking for, we want them to happen imminently or straight away. And a lot of this healing energy workers would say that you can see the results straight away, or you can feel them straight away. It's not always the truth. You will feel them 100% when the time is right for you, when you go through the lessons that you are supposed to go. And everyone has got a different timeline for their own healing and for their own development. And also, every age has got different timelines, not to mention another layers of sometimes you have to kind of meet your karmic counterparts, people that you've met in other lives, and then you're supposed to meet in this life and have this relation based on what happened. It's very what happened in the previous life, maybe, and maybe heal it, or maybe go through this again and come out from this, or I don't know, maybe stay in this if that's what's supposed to happen. So to add all of this to that is just yes, the life is like an amazing game and maze that you are experiencing, and for curious people, and for people that are kind of hungry of experiences. And I'm not talking about experiences if you have to go on in an Amazonian jungle and stay in a tent or something like that. If you develop this, if you develop yourself and your inner world, you will experience as rich experiences as if you were going out of on the journeys and excursions outside of yourself to other countries, and you can experience your own feelings and your own experiences as much as something outside of you. And I'm sure if you know it, you'll know it. If you don't kind of fully grasp it as yet, that's okay. It's a journey. I don't really like this word, but sometimes that's the kind of only thing that kind of fits. So it's a journey, and it needs to be taken slowly sometimes. And the most important for this is, for me, is not to lose your inner joy, which comes from your inner child. So not to lose your inner child, the child that is always curious, the child that always wants to have fun in terms of being open, being positive, and looking at the world with amazement. And obviously, again, that's not always possible, but whenever you can and whenever you think about it, reflect on it, try to implement it, because this is something that will definitely help you on this journey. And so that's all for today, I think. Hopefully you find some thing valuable for you in this not very cohesive talk today, but it was a real joy to talk to you. I am happy that I've done it, and I speak to you next time. Bye.